In this video, we're going to look at creating a new database and a database table in Microsoft Access. So we're going to go to File and choose New, and while there are templates, we're going to start with a blank database so that we can do the table creation process as well. So I'm going to click on blank database, and then you can choose Browse here to choose a different location. I'll just put mine in Documents for simplicity's sake. So I'll put in my name here and choose Create, and it will create a blank database with one table. But if I close that, then the table actually disappears and there's nothing in the database. So if I wanted to create a table now, I'm going to go to Create, and there's quite a few different things that we can create, but of course we can't do much without any table. And I'm going to do one from Table Design. So I find that the easiest. And here we can see the design view of a table. Before we delve deeper into creating a new table, I'm just going to have a look at an existing table in Design View. And you can see here on the left-hand side are the field names, which were previously along the top in the datasheet view. Then each field, besides a name, has got a data type. And there's quite a few different data types, and we'll look at different ones as we go along. And then you can have an optional description explaining, if necessary, what the field entails. So back in our new database, with our new table, we're going to create some fields and assign them data types, and then we can go through the different data types as we create them. So to create new fields, we simply choose their field names and type them in one after the other, and then we'll assign the data types afterwards. So here I've added a few fields that will be in our table, and you can see it's automatically assigned them the short text data type, which is just a general type for any digits or letters or any combination of that. So perfect for names, surnames, any sort of short text as the name suggests. The only limit is that it's a maximum of 255 characters, which you can see here in the field properties area at the bottom here. And you can shorten it to make it a bit less sort of a waste of memory space, especially if this was a large database. Maybe we would only make the first name 25 long, or even 20, or even smaller, depending on what sort of names we were expecting to get in here. Surname would also similarly be, I'd probably only keep it at 25, unless you're expecting very, very long surnames. That's probably sufficient. Other data types, so for instance ID, we could perhaps use the AutoNumber data type, which is in the middle here, and that is going to assign a sequential number automatically to each new record. So the first person or first item in this table will be 1, the next one added will be 2, and so on and so forth. Then we've got the sport, which again is probably going to be short text, but perhaps we could also make it a drop-down list. So that's an option. Although it will still be short text, we can use the Lookup Wizard if we wanted to have certain sports. So maybe that we only offer certain sports. So I'm going to do the Lookup Wizard now just to quickly show you, and it takes you through step by step. You can either get the values from another table. Of course, we don't have any tables at this stage. So I'm going to say I'll type in the values that I want. And here we simply type them one after the other, going down in each row. So I'll do that quickly. So once you've added all the items that are going to be in the list, then you simply click Next, and you say what label would you want. Well, we want it to be called Sport, so that's the option there. And we want to potentially limit it to the list if we don't want other sports or other items to be added to that list manually. So let's say we'll limit to the list, and we finish. And nothing has actually changed on this side. You can see it still says short text. The field size is 255, which is probably too much. But if we click on the lookup section of the field properties, you can see it says combo box. It's set to a list or a value list, and there's the 4 items that we typed in. So that's quite handy if you are doing something that's a limited set of options. Then we've got date of birth, which logically should be a date so that people can simply choose the date. So if we choose date or time, then it will allow them to actually select the date from a little calendar widget. Then we've got membership paid, which is a tick box saying yes or no, have they paid their fee. We can say yes or no, and it literally creates a little tick box that they can select or tick to change. The other field types we've got, long text is for much longer than 255. So if you have a small paragraph that you want to include. Number is for, as the name suggests, numbers of varying lengths, and large number, well, for longer numbers. Date time we looked at. Currency is if you have a currency value, so it will put in a currency symbol for you. OLE object is if you want to insert an image or another attachment. Hyperlink is for hyperlinks, email addresses, and so on. Attachment allows you to just attach more file types than the OLE object, so perfect for images and things like that. You can also do calculated fields, which we'll look at in a future video, and Lookup Wizard, as we looked at already. So now if I've got this, I can change the view. It says, do we want to save the table? Yes, I do. I can give it a name. I'm going to call it table 1 for the sake of simplicity, but it should have a better name than that. Now you'll see it says there's no primary key defined. Primary key is not compulsory, but if you're doing relationships, which again we'll look at in a future video, then it needs a primary key. So I'm going to say no for now, and we'll have a look at our table, and as you can see it's empty, but we can simply start typing in data, and there's the auto number is automatically gone in, and then we come to sport, and we can choose the sport from the list there. Date of birth, it gives us a little date picker, and membership, we can tick yes or no. And that's our basic table done and ready to work with.